New Jersey receives no invite to the playoff party, and yet it plays a key role in determining first place in the East, a prize that visiting Montreal covets. Devils, Canadiens, next.
Finally starting to feel like spring as we welcome you to Newark. It's the start of a holiday weekend, and we are set to start this Friday night face-off between the Devils and Montreal Canadiens, and the opening face-off is straight ahead. Hi there, I'm Deb Lacey. Welcome to our coverage of Devils hockey. Tonight begins the final five games of the regular season, and for the Devils, tonight begins the final set of back-to-backs. For more on that and more on the matchups, here are Steve Cangelosi and Ken Danico.
Well, thanks a lot, Deb. It was your interview with Lou Lamoriello on game night that saw the Devils general manager again stress the need to acquire a proven goal scorer for next season. You might say, Dano, he needs another Mike Camilleri, who, if he keeps going, has a chance to set a club record for goals scored by a first-year Devil. Only 2 players in Devils history have scored 30 in their first season with the club. Sylvain Turgeon 25 years ago. Claude Lemieux did it the year after that. And after a 2-goal game on Tuesday, Camilleri has got 27 and counting.
Kanji, you took the words right out of my mouth. The Devils need a guy like Mike Camilleri or 2 if they're going to make the playoffs next season and moving forward. Guys that don't need as many opportunities to put the puck in the back of net. You see that one-time shot? I mean, man, he gets everything on it. He gets all that torque there on one knee. It doesn't always have to be in his wheelhouse. He still gets a lot on it and a lot of accuracy on the shot. He scored both goals in Columbus to salvage a point for the Devils their last game. Mike Camilleri has done everything expected for this hockey club. And yes, that's something I would believe that General Manager Lou Lamoriello will be shopping for in the offseason. Another Mike Camilleri or 2.
The playoff-bound Canadiens may have to win out their remaining 4 games to have a chance to finish first overall in the East. Now, they've defeated the Devils twice already this season, and the big reason for that, the playmaking prowess of their former Norris Trophy winning defenseman, P.K. Subban. First 2 games against the Devils, he had 3 assists in each of them. An assist tonight would match his career high of 43 set last season. Kenny, what makes this guy so hard to contain?
Well, where do I begin? Speed, explosiveness, passing ability with the heavy shot. And oh yeah, if you don't keep your head up, he'll also put you through the boards, as we saw with Adam Larson a few years ago on a hip check. But here you see P.K. Subban. Look at the vision there. He intercepts a pass, then a beautiful backhand pass last time the Devils met over to Heller for the one-timer. He's involved all over the ice. He's a key for the Canadiens, not only in the back end, but also in their offensive attack. So this is a guy you have to watch. He's a gregarious guy. He's a very exciting player who speaks his mind. I think he's great for the National Hockey League, but boy, does he perform on the ice. One of the elites in the game today, and the Devils are going to have to contain P.K. Subban tonight if they have a shot at winning this game.
So we're ready to go on this Good Friday at the Rock. Hey, that hockey fan Austin Powers had a very reliable number 2. So do these teams. Keith Kincaid is the man for the Devils. Dustin Tokarski gets the call tonight for the Canadiens. The opening face-off is next.
Players to watch tonight for a couple of different reasons.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty Gomez, I mean, he didn't have great success there in Montreal, but coming back, he wants to keep proving himself that he still has a lot left in the tank, maybe stick it to Montreal just a little bit. But Mike Camilleri, he had some good success in Montreal, and for his reasons, he wants to finish the season strong. He wants to get to 30 goals. So, you know, his play's been really good, and I think pride will take over here, and these guys are going to put in a nice effort tonight.
Mike Camilleri has 27 goals after getting 2 more in Columbus, so he has a chance to get to 30 goals.
He definitely has a chance to get to 30 goals. He's played a great, you know, all year. He's been very, very solid for the Devils, and, you know, scoring, but both ends of the rink as well. He kills penalties on the power play. So I think, you know, it's been a great signing for the Devils, and I think, you know, tonight he may get a couple more.
All right. At least one more.
At least one more. We'll give him one each.
Steve.
Thank you, guys. In high hopes, Mike Camilleri. This is his 3rd start versus the Canadiens this season. The first 2 didn't go very well for Keith Kincaid, especially a 6-2 loss at the Bell Center February 7th. Kincaid took a shot to the throat, you might recall, 4 minutes into that game, and he wound up facing a season-high 44 shots. At the opposite end, just his 17th appearance this season. A game of tremendous importance for the Canadians, and he's giving the Vezina Trophy favorite, Carey Price, the night off. In the Tampa Bay Lightning system at one time, Dustin Tokarski was the AHL's winningest goaltender in 2012.
Pretty good backup, one of the better ones in the National Hockey League, Steve. I know he's got some learning to do along the way, but he showed in the playoffs he's very capable. Last season in the effort when Carey Price was injured. And he looked human. That's Carey Price yesterday against the Washington Capitals. So I think it's a smart move from the Montreal Canadiens to give him a rest and just relax. You're not going to be perfect. He has had a spectacular year. Good chance he wins the Vezina, maybe even the Hart. So he gets a rest tonight. But the Devils can't take their foot off the gas pedal because Tokarski plays well in the pipes also.
Game 78 of 82 for the Devils, trying to avoid a season sweep by Montreal. Andy Green punches it ahead. Adam Henry, cross-ice pass in the direction of Patrick Elias, goes all the way to Tokarski, who stops play.
There's Montreal coach Michel Therrien. And Steve, this is a big year for the Canadiens as far as, yes, we look at them sitting atop the Atlantic Division right behind the Rangers in the Eastern Conference as far as standings, but they expect results in the playoffs this year. Now they have a healthy Carey Price. You know, they gave it everything they had against the New York Rangers, but they feel with their goaltender, they've got an opportunity to go a long way, and why not? This team can play.
Jamming at it in front, Steve Bernier, and the stop made by Tokarski. Devils with some early pressure here. Bernier at the side of the net punches it back. Mark Fraser with a shot, stopped in front by Tokarski, who's being tested early on. Canadians just trying to get it out of the zone. Instead, Reed Boucher shot. Tokarski holds on once again. Lou Lamoriello acknowledged this morning it's been a long year. When his team is in Tampa Thursday, he'll be on the Devils bench, but Providence College will face off 2 hours earlier in the Frozen Four semifinals versus Omaha. Providence in the Frozen Four for the first time since 1985, when that man, Lamoriello, was the athletic director at the school, and the goalie was Chris Terreri. 30 years later, they're back, and Lou had a smile on his face today about that. Adam Larson plays it in deep. Tonight's lineup's brought to you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Dinah Subras has the puck in the corner for New Jersey. Elias able to lay this off, and the give here for Adam Larson. Redirect by Elias is tipped wide. The play predominantly in the Canadian zone to start things off tonight. Subras battles for the puck with PK Subban. It's punched across and taken here by Sergei Gonchar. Icing against the Canadians. We're still only a minute 23 in.
Steve, Devils with the first real good scoring opportunity. Nice play by Eric Jallow to keep that puck alive. What a pass from Scott Gomez. And there's Reed Boucher. See how quick he gets this shot off. Quick release. Tokarski comes out to the top of the crease and makes a save. But a good sign early on to see Reed Boucher get a chance, get his shot through. The Devils are hoping this young man can be one of those solutions and score some goals for the team in the future.
Yeah, he's looking for his first point since his recall, Dano. He's in the lineup tonight after being a healthy scratch for the previous two. Subban tries to work it out of the zone, kept in by Stefan Matteau. Zajac backhanded it in, but here's Subban controlling here for Montreal. Carey Price is not the only prominent Canadiens player getting the night off. This is the balancing act for Michel Therrien. There's still a lot to play for before the regular season ends, but he needs to give certain players a break. Andrei Markov is one of them getting a rest tonight. He is a healthy scratch. That's why the 41-year-old Gonchar is in the lineup for Montreal. Canadians with a 1-point lead on Tampa Bay atop the Atlantic Division coming into tonight. P.A. Parento has this in the corner for the Canadians and works it back to the point. Pass deflects off the stick of Alex Galchenyuk, and the Devils get it out to center.
Steve, you mentioned that Markov's sitting out tonight. And yes, you want to finish as high as you can and hopefully get home ice advantage for as long as you can, but that is the balancing act because you want your guys to be rested. It's all about the playoffs, and we know teams can win on the road these days. You see it so often. So tonight he gets a rest. That's Markov on the back end, and that's something the good teams do, the teams that have
themselves solidified in a playoff position.
Here's Scott Gomez, the ex-Canadian, over the line, able to hold. Two Canadians converge on him. Puck taken away, though, by the Devils. Shot by Larson, off Tom Gilbert in front. Picked up here by Bernier. Jamming at it at the side of the net, Gomez, but that's broken up and cleared by Jacob Delarose.
Great start to this game from the Devils, spending a lot of time in the Canadian zone. Hungry on loose pucks, winning some battles here, and getting some chances. Tokarski's looked good early on.
Jeff Petrie back to collect this for the Canadians. Acquired in a trade from the Oilers about a month before the NHL trade deadline. Son of the ex-big league pitcher Dan, punched ahead here by Alexei Emelin. Devils with more pressure here, but it's taken by Montreal. Lars Eller at center ice. Strong back check. That's broken up by Jacob Josephson.
You mentioned Jeff Petrie's father, Dan. I was a Tiger fan growing up. Very young when I was born in Windsor, Ontario. My dad used to take me there once in a while, Kenji. That's my other dream job. I wanted to pitch one inning in the major leagues. I was a lefty pitcher as a kid, loved the game of baseball, so it must have been enjoyable for him. But he chose hockey to watch his father in the big leagues.
It's about a 30-minute drive through the tunnel to the old Tiger Stadium, right?
There you go. Willie Horton and Denny McLean, those are the guys. That's all. I guess I'm showing my age, is what I'm saying.
We play on. Patrick Elias, a young 39, and that shot is deflected out of play.
Devils real good start to this hockey game, getting chances. Adam Larson with a quick shot. Boy, he gets that puck through more often than not. You see Gomez around the net, Bernier and Boucher both crashing the net, looking for any way to put that puck past Tokarski there. You see him hug that post, make a good save there. Good start with the Gomez line so far. A couple of chances, spending both their shifts in the Montreal Canadian zone.
Devils have the first three shots. Brendan Gallagher, the 22-year-old right wing, plays it ahead. Max Pacioretty, who's wrapping up a terrific season for Montreal. He's their leading scorer, wearing number 67. On the top line tonight with Thomas Plekanec and Gallagher. Off the stick of Subban, Pacioretty punches it ahead, and Plekanec works it across. Brendan Gallagher fighting for the puck with Andy Green, played into the corner, and Plekanec cycles this for Pacioretty. New Canaan, Connecticut native, guides it back to the point, and Gilbert will send it back in. Tom Gilbert, just back from a fractured jaw, drops it back. Shot by Nathan Beaulieu to the side of the net. Pacioretty threw it across. Nobody on the receiving end. Here's Beaulieu again. Pacioretty threw it in front, and this time it leaves the zone.
A broken stick in the middle of the zone there.
Beaulieu and the Canadians offside.
Well, you talked about in the opening the young defenseman for the New Jersey Devils, Steve, as well as Johnny Mack and Deb and Adam Larson. You know, reading comments from Lou Lamoriello that he doesn't know what the limits are for this young man, but he certainly has made strides this season. And I think his offensive potential, you know, I don't want to gauge it, but 35, 40 points is not out of the realm, and that would help the Devils' offense as well, because I think a lot of these young defensemen can bring that with Severson and Jellin. And Adam Larson's one of those guys, yeah, it's nice to see him play well in his own end, but if he adds that offensive arsenal to his game, then I think it's going to help New Jersey, and I think he's capable of it.
Reached the 20 assist mark in the last game Tuesday night against Columbus. Got our first penalty of the night. Let's see what we have. Or do we? No, the puck just knocked down with a high stick. Excuse me. Face-off is in the New Jersey end. There's Mike Camilleri, the Devils' goal-scoring leader. He's going to miss the playoffs for a fourth straight season. Calgary did not make it the previous 3 years. In the 2010 playoffs, no player had more goals than the 13 that Camilleri scored for Montreal. Remember, they were an 8th seed. They trailed 3-1 opening round against the Capitals. They got all the way to the conference final that year. His teammate is his teammate now. Scott Gomez was on that team as well. It wasn't all bad in Montreal for Gomez. We tend to forget.
He had a good playoffs there, no question. That was when they got remarkable goaltending from Halak, the Islander goaltending.
Galchenyuk threw it in front for a cutting Parenta, taken by the Devils and Matteau. Here's Damon Severson punching it across. John Merrill Looks to send it out of the zone. Zajac plays it across. Here's Severson carrying over the line. Camilleri on the puck. Drops it back to the point. Zajac has got it. And a shot. A riser off the glass behind Tokarski. Zajac once again carries into the Montreal end. Checked by Emelin. Petrie able to guide this across, and the Canadians with Dale Weiss sending it ahead. Get it to center, and it's dumped in by Emelin. Keith Kincaid makes the stop. 6.5 minutes in. We'll step aside for the first time at the Rock. No score.
Points by defensemen up to date. At this point of the season, Steve, we see the Montreal Canadiens 160 points from the backhand, tied for 7th in the National Hockey League. We take a look at the Devils, 125 points, which is 26th in the league. And that's looks like a big discrepancy, certainly from 7th to 26th. That is, the points isn't all that big of a difference as far as the growth of this young defenseman. You throw in Andy Green, who's also a puck-moving defenseman. John Merrill can also pick up some points. Now you've got 5 defensemen moving forward that can help the Devils provide more offense. Now, yes, the forwards have to finish, and they have to add a few more skilled guys up front. But I think the Devils' defense has potential to be one of those better teams from an offensive standpoint in the future.
Henrique across to Larson, part of that group. That shot is fired wide. I was doing the quick math as you were showing that. Subban and Markov, their assists total 79 points alone. So that's a very big part of that. It's nearly half of the total that you showed on the screen. That's a pretty good offensive tandem. The top tandem defensively for the Canadians. Bischoff, Pacioretty tried to pull the trigger on a shot. Zobrist there to carry it away and bust into the Canadiens' end. Here's Gilbert spinning away from Reed Boucher. Canadians 2 points behind the Rangers for first overall in the Eastern Conference. New York, though, has a game at hand. Again, to finish first overall, Montreal may have to win out to have any chance in the Final Four. Prost plays it ahead. Here's Lars Eller. His pass broken up, taken here by Jelinek. Weiss under pressure in the corner, winds it around the boards, battling for the loose puck. Steve Bernier punches it to center, taken here by Scott Gomez, who sends it in deep. Lars Eller plays it ahead, and Weiss slowed up along the far boards by Ruutu. Puck taken away by Scott Gomez, tries to beat Petrie one-on-one, and it's taken here by Emelin.
He almost did slither that puck through Petrie. Made the pass, but it was just a little too far for Ruutu, or he was right on top of the Montreal goaltender with an opportunity. And I wonder if Scott Gomez has a little extra motivation playing one of his former teams, the Montreal Canadiens, or it's just old hat. But I would assume, you know, the way it ended in Montreal, he wants to show, even in a game like this, that I still got something left.
He wasn't greeted warmly when we were there in February. Josephson with the puck, drops it back. Severson with a shot, and it's blocked away by Galchenyuk. Parento on the puck, tries to lift it out of the zone, and does. We've played 9 minutes of a scoreless game at the Rock. Glad you've joined us on this Good Friday. Happy Passover as well from all of us at MSG+. Punched out of the zone by Matteau and guided back. Beaulieu plays it ahead. Here's Desharnais. Drops it back. Galchenyuk is sealed off by Matteau. Puck taken by the Canadians. David Desharnais in the corner. Tries to spin away from his man. John Merrill there to work it ahead. Canadians stay with it. Bouncing puck. Pops up high. Poked ahead. Zajac tries to find the handle. Taken instead by Subban at the point. Got rid of it. Zajac able to get it out of the zone and work it into the Canadiens' end. Matteau. Big hit in the corner on Subban. Camilleri tried to come in front with it. Well, you wouldn't let him. Played back to the point. Green across to Larson. His shot got to Kokoski. They score! Stefan Matteau at the doorstep. And the Devils have the lead.
This play all started about 15 seconds earlier with Stefan Matteau being a power forward that the coaching staff wants him to be. A hard hit in the corner right here, causing the turnover with PK Subban. Mike Camilleri does some nice work, gets it to Zajac back to the point, and then Adam Larson, so good at getting that puck through Tokarski, can't handle the rebound. Look where Mateau is, right in front. And he's able to pounce on that loose puck as it drops down right in front. He showed some quick hands there as well. That has to make the Devils coaching staff awfully happy to watch that shift from Stefan Mateau. Because how many times have we heard Lou Lamoriello say, we need to see him play like a power forward consistently. He's capable of it. That was a prime example of it right there.
That's not his first. It's his second National Hockey League goal. He had one in the initial call-up 2 years ago. The Devils, I know, wanted to start seeing that from the two kids, the call-ups Boucher and Mateau, who together had played a collective 10 games but hadn't registered a point yet since the call-up a little more than a week ago. Stefan Mateau has the Devils on the board. Here's Mark Fraser on the puck for New Jersey. Steered in by Elias. Patrick Elias has it deep in the Canadiens' end. Throws one in front. Tokarski had to make a stop. Henrique guides it back to Larson. His shot blocked away by Plekanec. Taken here by Henrique. Devils buzzing now in the Canadiens' end, but poked away by Gallagher. Adam Larson, Andy Green get the assists on Mateau's first of the year.
On that goal, Steve, all 5 guys on the ice were involved, starting with a hit from Mateau in the corner to cause the turnover. But every Devil touched the puck before that goal was scored. Adam Larson, again, we just talked about him. Boy, he gets that shot through as good as any defenseman on the Devils on a consistent basis.
Galchenyuk puts the brakes on for Montreal. Played in deep. Desharnais able to collect the loose puck to Galchenyuk. Shot from the circle, saved by Kincaid, and he's got it. Stefan Mateau has the Devils on top at the Rock.
Devils open the scoring against the Canadiens. All starts there with the big hit from Stefan Mateau on Subban in the corner. Devils hunt the puck down. Everybody touched the puck that I mentioned, Steve, on that shift. The shot, quick wrist shot from Larson. Doesn't take the big wind-up, head up. Gets the puck at a perfect height. Tokarski can't control the rebound. And look at Stefan Mateau with the screen. And then right there with the quick hands, puts that past the Montreal goaltender to give the Devils a 1-0 lead. Great shift and real good start for the Devils in this first period. I know the Canadiens played last night. This is a speedy Montreal team that looks like they're on their heels for the first 12 minutes of this period.
Icing is the call here. Mateau was terrific on Sunday night against Anaheim. Rather quiet in the follow-up game against Columbus. Perhaps he was aware of that perception and tried to do something about it. His first couple of shifts tonight were very noticeable.
We talked about how well he played against Anaheim in the 2-1 loss here a couple of games ago, but it's about consistency for the young guys. No, you're not going to be perfect every night, Steve. And some nights you have better legs than others where you can go in and forecheck and make the big hit.
Emelin, centering try, wants Plekanec. Got only so much on the shot, and it went wide. Played back to the point. Petrie's shot is blocked. And Camilleri to the stick of Damon Severson.
But to finish that on my toes, you want to 8 out of 10 games in my estimation is when you're on your game, you're consistent. And for him, it's being a power forward, finishing his checks, and chipping in a little bit of offense as he did there.
Sounds like a pretty good percentage to me. Plekanec behind the net.
Is that high?
I expect a lot.
Okay, let's set the bar high. Good. In the corner, Severson able to work it ahead, but Gallagher gets the puck loose. Plekanec gets a shot away, stick save by Kincaid. Here's Emelin off Zajac, and it deflects back out to center.
I don't expect him to score 8 goals every 10 games. The Devils would certainly like that, but we just want a consistent effort, and we want to see it from young guys as they continue to grow as players, and if he's going to in fact be a regular NHL player and contribute to this Devils hockey team moving forward.
Larson ahead for Jordan Tootoo. Picks up Tuomo Ruutu, who carries over the line. Ruutu dishes one in front for the cutting Tootoo, but broken up. Collected here by Jacob Josephson. Devils still trying to make something of this. Josephson works it loose. Got by Tootoo, and it's taken here by Gilbert. Tom Gilbert signed as a free agent with the Canadiens back in July. First game back, as I mentioned, from a fractured jaw. As the Canadiens try to get their real lineup together and ready to go for the so-called second season. Fraser across to Jelena. Fires into the Montreal end. Here's Subban. Couldn't control the puck. Elias tried to come away with it. Emelin to Parenteau, who chips it out of the zone. Here's Eric Jelena back in his own end. Off the leg of Elias. Tried to steer it towards Adam Henrique, and now Zubris quickly ahead. Nice maneuver by Henrique. Defended, though, by Subban. Punched back in. Tokarski with the glove stop. Opts to play the puck. Jelena couldn't get far with Galchenyuk in his face, and it's controlled here by Mark Fraser. Devils coming off a 3-2 loss to Columbus in overtime on Tuesday. They haven't won since defeating Buffalo exactly 2 weeks ago. Penalty coming up against New Jersey. Knocked down on the play. Believe that was Dale Weiss. Will step aside here at the Rock. Penalty against John Merrill. Kenny, he interfered with Manny Malhotra.
And Manny Malhotra chips the puck by. Maybe Merrill was a little too aggressive as the puck is already gone. Boy, it's a close call to me. You see Malhotra goes down relatively hard, but John Merrill might have to just let up a little bit. You want to be physical, and I like the fact that he's finishing his check. Puck was probably a split second gone by, and maybe he should have held up a little, so he gets interference. Devils on the PK.
Sergei Gonchar has it at the point. Canadiens power play, 23rd in the league. Shot by Plekanec, he scores! Thomas Plekanec let it rip, and the Canadiens tie the game with the power play goal.
Well, the Canadiens didn't waste any time in tying this game up, and you saw some of the skill on their power play on this team. In fact, Montreal hasn't had much going in this first period, but it's all about the face-off. They win the draw cleanly. Gonchar walks the line, and you see Plekanec just up high right here. Boy, does he get a lot on this shot upstairs over the shoulder. You see Gallagher screening Kincaid in front. That's one heck of a shot. And it wasn't the big windup, Steve. You see, it was just kind of the half slap shot. Plekanec got a whole lot on it to tie this hockey game up, but beautiful execution from the Canadiens power play, and it took all of what, 5 seconds?
7 to be precise. They worked it quickly. Patrick Elias knows how good Plekanec is. Olympic teammate of him twice for the Czech Republic side. Here's Larson back in his own end. 1-1 the score. Green tries to work it out of the zone. Here's Larson. Pacioretty on the forecheck here for Montreal. Puck loose behind the Devils net. Pacioretty and Plekanec hope the Canadiens come away with the puck. Plekanec again with Zubris draped on. Continues on. Dainis Zubris stays with him. Now Green battling in the corner with Brendan Gallagher. Here's Gallagher on the puck. Centering try. Pacioretty trying to get a shot away. He was slowed up, and the Devils punch it out.
Talking about Plekanec tying this game up, his 23rd of the season. That's another guy the Canadiens. This is a well-balanced team, but he's a guy they're really going to rely on. And that shot was a seeing eye shot. He's a guy that can really pick the corner, and he couldn't have shot that any better. But Brendan Gallagher doing a real nice job, completely screening goaltender Kincaid.
Here's Malhotra on the puck for Montreal. Tried to play it behind the net for Prost, taken away by the Devils. Camilleri, cross ice, it's picked off here by Severson. Under 4 minutes to go, first period of play. Lifted in by Camilleri. Gilbert able to glove this down. Check by Nateau in the corner. Puck pops up high, here's Zajac. Prost tries to get it out of the zone, taken by Weiss. He'll send it in, and Montreal uses the opportunity to change. Full house here on this Friday night at the Rock. Next to last home game for the Devils. The home finale Tuesday. The Rangers will be here. Guided back, taken here. Shot from the point, they score! That's Petrie! It got through! And the Canadiens take a 2-1 lead.
Well, just like that, this game has turned. This started with the Devils unable to clear the puck. I think they got a little too fancy here trying to pass it instead of
The only option they really had was to bat it out. Right here, you see two Devils whack at that loose puck, but it goes right to Petrie. He wastes no time. All he does is take the quick wrist shot toward the net, and I think that hit the knee pad of Lars Eller in front, redirected past Keith Kincaid to give the Canadians a 2-1 lead.
We'll see how they score it, but the Devils have allowed 2 in a span of 2 minutes and 3 seconds. On the first goal, Plekanec from Gonchar and Gallagher. We'll see how they determine how this went in. Now Zajac with the Devils trailing for the first time tonight. Emelin seals off Zajac. Now Travis able to get it back behind the net. Tries to come out in front with it. Tokarski wouldn't let him do it. Matteau guides it back to the point. Jelena got a wrist shot away. Emelin blocks it away. Oh, Jelena bats that out of midair. This is still a 3-on-1 for the Canadians. And the pass across in the direction of Desharnais. Too tough to control.
It was a saucer pass from Parenteau. Mark Fraser made a really nice play batting that puck out of midair to deter a scoring chance for the Canadians again.
Beaulieu back in his own end. Nathan Beaulieu, 22-year-old, first-round pick of the Canadians in 2011. They feel this team is coming of age with young talent like Gallagher, who sees the puck taken away like Andy Green. Punched ahead. Here's Adam Henrique on the move for the Devils. 3-on-2. Henrique threw it across. A cutting Andy Green into the attack, and it deflected just wide of the net. Here's Elias. Tried to work it across. Back come the Canadians. It's end-to-end now. One-hand pass by Plekanec. Able to pick up a loose puck as it was dropped by Pacioretty. And now Gallagher sends it back in deep. Max Pacioretty guides it back to Beaulieu. Played across. Gilbert pumps one off the backboard. And Green has this for New Jersey. Can't clear the zone yet. Adam Henrique will lift it away this time. Just over a minute and a half to go. Period 1. 2-1. Canadians on top.
Steve, this has been part of the Montreal Canadian recipe all year long, is good goaltending. They give up a lot of chances and spend time in their end, but they can strike quickly, as we saw late in this period, to give the Canadians a 2-1 lead after they were down 1-0.
Severson fires in. Here's Tokarski. Banked out of the zone. Weiss is on the move here. Dale Weiss shoots. Oh, Kincaid got just enough of it with the glove. Subban, far side, will send it back in. Minute to go in the first. Here's John Merrill. Bernier tried to work it across for Gomez. Taken away by Weiss. Big response here from the Canadians after the opening goal by Stefan Matteau. Brandon Prust guides it back to the point. Emelin is on this. His shot redirected. Stopped in front and taken here by Lars Eller. Canadians have tilted the ice here. Devils need to get out down 1. Here's Eller controlling. Subban at the point. Shot rifled wide. Eller on the opposite side. Able to hold the zone and send it back in. John Merrill now skates it away. 16 seconds left in the period. Larson back in his own end. They're announcing the goal as Petrie. Unassisted at 16:42, and with that, Canadians take the lead to the first intermission.
I think that goal may be changed. I think Eller got a piece of that. Redirected.
Devils fans, stay tuned for the first intermission report, presented by GMC. Deb and Johnny Mac straight ahead. Don't miss the New Jersey Devils Fan Appreciation Night when they take on the Rangers April 7th. All fans in attendance will receive a Devils hockey puck, courtesy of Prudential, and a Devils poster. For tickets, visit NewJerseyDevils.com/fans. Carey Price is getting the evening off. Can he win the Hart Trophy as the NHL's most valuable player? It would appear this is a two-way race right now in the NHL. You're looking at categories in which each of these players are #1 in the National Hockey League. Carey Price, 41 wins, 1.95 goals against average, the .935 save percentage, all tops in the league in those categories. For Alexander Ovechkin, goals number 51 and 52 were scored last night in the head-to-head meeting against the Canadians. The Capitals won the game in a shootout. He's on course for an unprecedented third straight Rocket Richard Trophy. 11 game winners, and the 378 shots simply dwarfs the man who's second in that category. Max Pacioretty of the Canadians is number 2 on that list. A lot of people made a lot of the head-to-head meeting last night, and it's Ovechkin who had the far better showing. Carey Price actually had a rough night. The 5-4 shootout win by the Capitals. He allowed 4 goals on just 19 shots, and thus getting the evening off. But you're talking about the parameters of the race now for the Montreal Canadiens, and this might very well be Carey Price's final game off, depending on what that last game of the regular season means. All 30 teams close out the regular season on April 11th. Montreal will finish against the Toronto Maple Leafs on that night. Price or Ovechkin for MVP, Mr. Danico? Where would you vote?
Originally, I said Carey Price, but Alexander Ovechkin yesterday wanted to make sure people are aware of him scoring twice on Carey Price in that victory for the Capitals. Tough call. Really tough call for me. Carey Price is probably the biggest reason why the Canadiens are where they are. I know the importance of Ovechkin, one of the elite goal scorers. He's really a remarkable player, so consistent year in, year out, but I'd probably go with this man. I know he'll probably get the Vezina as well. However, I just think he's had that much of an impact to this Canadian team. I don't know where they'd be without him.
Well, for the goalie to win the Hart, many people will say it has to be a season that's off the charts. Dominik Hasek, Jose Theodore. Carey Price might be there. His 41 wins, countered by 16 defeats and 5 losses in overtime or shootout. Second period underway here at Prudential Center. And Lars Eller back to play the puck here for the Canadiens. Go-ahead goal still credited to Jeff Petrie as the second period begins. Emelin works it across. Here's Beaulieu on the puck for Montreal. Scott Gomez needed to get back on side, and Petrie works it across for Emelin. 3 games left for the Canadiens after tonight before they close out the regular season. Devils still with 4 more to play. The next 2 against the Rangers before the last road trip in the Sunshine State. Patrick Elias works it across, and Zubris will fire in. Canadiens with 8 of the first 13 shots in the game. Punched out of the zone here by Beaulieu. Pacioretty works it across. On the puck is Plekanec. He shoots. Juggled by Kincaid, who holds on. The New York Spring Spectacular, presented by Chase, stars the Rockettes, Laura Benanti from ABC's Nashville, and Derek Huff from Dancing with the Stars. Now through May 3rd, only at Radio City. For tickets, visit Rockettes.com/spring.
The Devils want to get back to what they did the first 10 minutes of the first period, and that spent a lot of time with the Canadiens, and it turned after that power play goal. Plekanec tied the hockey game up, and then near the end, last 3-4 minutes, it was all Montreal, and they took the 2-1 lead. Devils have to settle in again and get their legs moving.
Punched out, taken here by Gonchar. Gallagher's stick was tied up by Elias, and it's dropped back for Andy Green. At center ice. Collected here by Plekanec. Carries over the line, dishes across. Pacioretty's shot fought off high by Kincaid. They're shooting high on Keith Kincaid here tonight, the Canadiens.
Well, it seems as well that he's been juggling some pucks, but they're tricky shots. The one from Plekanec just recently was on end, Steve, and butterflied on Keith Kincaid. So puck's coming at him in a different angle and strange way here. He's had a tough time corralling some of those pucks.
Henrique able to punch it ahead. Here's Elias. Gets around PK Subban, slowed up just enough, and now delivers the hit on Gonchar. Battling for the puck. Gonchar is able to take this away. Pass for Desharnais, got by him, and the Canadiens punch it out the center anyway. Camilleri dishes off for Severson. Zajac with a shot until Koski holds on. Trivia time. It's brought to you, of course, by Cadillac. Which American-born player had the most 35-goal seasons? Now, you're looking at Max Pacioretty, who's already had 2 of them. This is his 7th year in the National Hockey League.
Now, Mike Modano would be my obvious guess. I know he scored 50 on one occasion.
I have a few guys in mind. I'm going to probably guess 3 or 4. When we get to that, Steve, there's a couple that popped right to my head, but I'm not sure which guy it would be. Is Brett Hall, was he born? Yes, Brett Hall's American, correct?
So there you have it.
I know his father's Canadian.
Like the Parise tandem.
The great Bobby Hall, the Golden Jet. Speaking of scoring, Ovechkin, what a tandem of father-son team that was.
Incredible. Punched ahead, 2-2. Hard collision at center ice, and Jordan Tootoo right between the benches, going right back at the Canadian Dale Weiss, taken here by Ruutu. Dished off, here's Jelena. Got a wrist shot away, and that's fought off by Tokarski. Josephson guides it back to the point. Here's Jelena's shot that's blocked. Ruutu trying to find the handle, but Nathan Beaulieu tries to wind it out of the zone for Montreal. Puck still loose. Devils come up with it. Fraser with a shot that's blocked by Gilbert. Collected here by Ruutu. Cuomo Ruutu's shot. Another block in front by Gilbert.
Devils putting a little pressure on again, getting some pucks in the zone.
Take it here. Tootoo's shot is fired wide. Opportunities here for this line. Tootoo, Ruutu, and Josephson. Now Camilleri comes flying off the bench. Devils start to execute a change. Shot from the point. That's a third block in this sequence by Gilbert. Taken away here. Camilleri's got the puck for the Devils on the half wall. Played to Zajac. Canadians can use a change. They're tired. Zajac to Camilleri. Big save. Tokarski. And the shot from the follow-up try by Severson. And the puck pops up high. It wouldn't go. Zajac fanned on that try. Plays it down low. Here's Ruutu. He remains on. Devils still haven't fully executed the change. And the pass deflects to Severson. All pressure time here by the Devils for roughly a minute and a half, and now Prust will work it away, and finally the whistle.
I will tell you, I do not know how Tokarski got across on Damon Severson. Looked like he had the empty net. Great pressure from the Devils all over. Nice shot from Camilleri, and they saw the rebound. Damon Severson, let's take a look again off the Camilleri shot in the slot. And oh boy, Tokarski's able to get across and get the left pad there. I don't think Damon got all of that. Would have liked to get that upstairs, but the puck was rolling a little bit on him. And that initiated off the nice pass from Zajac to Camilleri for the one-timer in the high slot. Devils do everything there for about a minute and a half, the Canadian zone, except put the puck in the back of the net.
Tokarski has stopped 8 of 9 that the Devils have fired his way. Here's Bernier dropping it back to Merrill at the point. That's redirected. They score! It hit off a body in front, and the Devils have tied the game.
Well, if you don't succeed at first try and try again. Devils picked up right where they left off on that great shift previous, almost scoring. They continue the pursuit. Nice passing. Steve Bernier ends up getting that puck back to John Merrill. The quick wrist shot. I don't know if that's Boucher or Eller, the Canadian, who tipped that. Oh, that looks like Reed Boucher got a piece of that, so it's the second young Devil. Bateau gets the first one, and Reed Boucher with a nice redirection. I think Boucher got it, then Eller might have got a piece of it as well. Nonetheless, I think that's going to be Boucher's goal, and good night for the youngsters as this game's knotted at 2.
Another look. The shot by Merrill.
And there you see it. It goes right between the legs of Dustin Tokarski. He didn't pick that puck up. That was a real nice redirection tip from Reed Boucher.
That's his third career National Hockey League goal. His first this year. Parenteau. So the call-up kids have made the impact here for the Devils so far tonight. Galchenyuk drops it back to Subban. You sense that coming for New Jersey. They really dominated the 2.5 minute stretch prior to scoring. Here's Gonchar, able to dish off. Subban gets a shot away. Gloved by Kincaid, who scoops it up and holds on.
I think it's so important for these young Devils and their whole team in general for their psyche. I mean, how many times this year have you seen them work hard, get scoring chances, just unable to finish? Well, they have a good shift. They didn't score. They didn't get frustrated. They followed up with another good one. And then Reed Boucher's the recipient as he
ties this game up with a nice tip of the John Merrill wrist shot from the point. There's the other youngster, Mateau, who scored the first goal for the Devils. And that has to make Lou Lamoriello and the rest of his coaching staff awfully happy to see these two guys contribute. So important for their confidence. You ask why the Devils, these last 3 or 4 games are important. Well, that's a big reason right there, is these young guys want to feel good about themselves going into next year.
Here's the veteran Andy Green shooting, looking for the redirection himself, and that went wide.
His first of the season.
Petrie deep in his own end. Slowed up by Henrique, and now able to back it out of the zone. Tying goal by Reed Boucher.
And number 21, Scott Gomez.
Zubris carries over the line for New Jersey. He'll dump in, and Henrique will give chase as he collides with Yemlin. Give the assist to John Merrill and Scott Gomez on the tying goal at 4:37. Boucher with the intercept. Canadians get it back, and now Pacioretty leaves this for Eller. Lars Eller, the ex-St. Louis Blues, centering try in front, looking for the cutting Devontae Smith-Pelly. Another shot redirected, and Kincaid makes the stop. De La Rose battling with Boucher, who works it away. We played 6.5 in the second period. 2-2 game. De La Rose dumps in for Montreal. Here's Gelinas. Puck caroms around. Fraser with a big hit on Smith-Pelly, and the Devils get it out to center.
Nice response from the Montreal Canadiens after the Devils tied this game up. Come back with a real good shift of their own, almost go ahead again.
2-2 shot steered aside by Tokarski. Taken by Smith-Pelly, sent ahead. Desharnais on the move here for Montreal. Back checking Josephson, helped break that up.
Steve, I want to go back to one thing we were talking about, Brett Hall and American-born players. Our crack staff whispered in my ear he was actually born in Canada, ended up playing for Team USA.
That's what I remember, yeah.
And I know Brett Hall well, so I apologize. But yes, he was born in Canada like his father. However, became an American as well, and as we know, played on those Team USA teams for years.
Centering try here. Looking for the cutting Desharnais. Parenteau now gets it back. Tries to come out and shoot. Glove stopped by Kincaid, who holds on and stops play. 12:18 to go in the second. Nicest men walking in this building is longtime goal judge Paul McGinnis, who's worked his last game. It all began for him with the Devils' first season in New Jersey, 1982-83, and more than 1,200 games later, including the 8-year stint here at Prudential Center, Paul McGinnis calling it a career. Now, he factored into one of the more infamous moments in Devils history. We'll fill in some blanks as we move along. Let's watch some live hockey first. Plekanec and Elias to take the draw on the Devils' end.
I got to see Paul's family down below. His wife, daughter Holly, known them for many, many years, and just a great family like you mentioned, and Paul. Such an instrumental part of the Devils organization for years, or around the team. And
1988 playoffs, Jim Schoenfeld, Don Koharski. Who can forget this? Have another donut. Schoenfeld would be suspended. And thus, the officials took action, Kenny. And there's our friend. What happened?
Well, obviously Jim Schoenfeld was suspended. The referees decided the next game as the Devils got a court injunction and decided that they're not going to call the game unless Schoenfeld doesn't coach it. You know, general manager early in his tenure, Lou Lamoriello, a stubborn man as well, went with the court order injunction, and Schoenfeld ended up coaching, and you saw McGinnis there, along with a few of his other goal judges, ref the game, and it was awkward. It was a little bit weird. They did as good of a job under the circumstances.
Shot by Green, saved by Tokarski.
But I mean, imagine telling his grandkids, I mean, how taking a look at that tape that we just saw and reffing a Eastern Conference final game 6 against the New Jersey Devils and Boston Bruins. It was intriguing to say the least. When
the off-ice official became the on-ice official. Holding is the call here from the guys who do it regularly. Dean Morton and Chris Rooney are in charge. Adam Larson is going off.
New Jersey number 5, 2 minutes. Holding. Let's take a look at the penalty right here. You see Adam. That puck handcuffs him a little bit and ends up bouncing Look at it one more time. And bounces right to Buchanitz. Or, yes, that's Buchanitz. And Adam Larson ends up grabbing a hold of him. Takes a holding call right there. The Devils back on the PK. We saw what Montreal did in their first power play opportunity. Scored 7 seconds into it.
Here's Subban dishing off, and the Canadians immediately get to work. Played behind the net. Controlled. Petrie works it back. Now Desharnais on the puck. Petrie guides it across. Subban sets up the shot, and it's directed into the corner. Desharnais picks this up. Adam Larson for holding at 8:40. Second chance on the power play for Montreal. It's 1-for-1. Desharnais back to the point. Petrie for Subban. He's shot. Blocked away in front by Fraser and cleared by Josephson. They're ruling the puck went into the Canadiens bench, and that'll stop play. Lexus brings us a look at the Devils' upcoming schedule. 2 more against the Rangers. Tomorrow night at the Garden, we're live on MSG Plus 2. Tuesday, here at the Rock, 7 o'clock on Plus. And then the last road trip in Tampa Thursday night at 7:30 on MSG Plus.
Steve, going back to that 88 game where Paul McGinnis and his crew, goal judge Cruz and everybody else, off-ice officials ref that game. I remember looking at Pat Verbeek at the time and going, are we serious here? Game 6, and they did a great job considering, and the Bruins agreed to let them referee the game. And it got ugly. There was a 5-on-5 brawl, and imagine these guys trying to break the shenanigans up. It wasn't easy for them, believe me. It was a very difficult job, but they did a great job under the circumstances. And again, the McGinnis family, just great to see him hang it up and enjoy the rest of his life. And he did a lot for the organization.
Getting the royal treatment here tonight, the McGinnis family. Here's Subban working it ahead. Picks up Desharnais. Tries to split 2 defenders. Slowed up by Green. Oh, Kincaid got knocked down, and the Devils fortuitously get a clear. Still 55 to go, and the penalty against Adam Larson. Subban punches it ahead. Pacioretty across to Gallagher. It's dropped back for Petrie. They play it across. Subban trying to tee one up. Instead, takes it to the half wall. Dishes off. Pacioretty pumps it towards the net. Oh, Kincaid got the leg out. Puck never actually got to goal. Comes back to the point. Petrie dishes off, and it's taken by Pacioretty. Played down low, and he gives to Plekanec. Half a minute to go in the man advantage. Pacioretty back to Plekanec. Subban will collect on the opposite side. Subban gets rid of the broken stick, plows the road, gives to Pacioretty, played down road, chance here by Gallagher, and the stop made by Kincaid. Now Petrie with the wraparound, and it went through the crease. Subban, anxious moments on the Devils' penalty kill. Plekanec, loose in front, fishing at it, Kincaid, out of the box is Larson. Keith Kincaid's got the puck, and the Devils kill it off. 9:15 to go, second period. Hometown hero is World War II veteran Harry Ettlinger from Rockaway, New Jersey. Harry immigrated to Newark from Germany in 1938, and in 1945 he was assigned to the recovery of Europe's cultural treasures taken by Nazi looting and the ravages of war, a group famously known as the Monuments Men. Look at him go. Harry Ettlinger from Rockaway. You're our hometown hero.
Rockaway, New Jersey is my neck of the woods, and just great to see Harry and his excitement. He's got a lot of energy still, doesn't he? And thank you again for your service.
Now I've got to see the film. Beaulieu back in his own end.
Imagine him in his day. I think the Army certainly liked having him on their side from the energy he shows now in exuberance.
Beaulieu tries to throw one in front, picked up here by Eller, played behind the net. Centering try, collected instead by Boucher, who works it out of the zone. Reed Boucher has his first goal of the season. So does Stephane Matteau. That's the Devils scoring tonight. Even with the Atlantic Division leading Montreal Canadiens here tonight. Bouncing puck hops over the stick of Gelinas. And Severson is back to collect this. Lost control of the puck. Look out, Kincaid will cover up and stop play.
Kincaid made a nice save on Damon Severson there, Steve. He almost beat him, but he lost the puck.
Good to stay alert. Max Pacioretty, leading scorer for the Canadians this season with 67 points. Look where he ranks, 37 goals. That's 4th in the league. 10-game winners, second to Ovechkin. 294 shots, second to Ovechkin. He's emerged as one of the great U.S.-born players now. Off the draw, taken by Petrie. He was telling me earlier this year, Pacioretty, his first game as a high school freshman, he suffered a fractured collarbone. Small kid, Dad wanted him to wear football shoulder pads for the hockey game. Rebounded from that, had a growth spurt, and from there, his game really took off. He became a first-round pick, and now a terrific power forward for the Canadians.
He really is so big and strong, and boy, if there's a better shot in the National Hockey League snapshot, I'd like to find it, because Max Pacioretty can shoot it with the best of them. There you see Mike Camilleri, also a former Montreal Canadian amongst a few other teams. 2 goals last game against Columbus, and the Devils only had 2 goals and they lost 3-2 in overtime. 3 shots, and you know, Mike Camilleri's come over to the Devils. He's just had a great attitude. Never mind the goals we've talked about, but his attitude and leadership has been terrific here.
Penalty is being called here. Chris Rooney pointed towards the circle. It's an interference call. It's against Montreal.
It's like Galchenyuk going to the penalty box, and this will be the Devils' first power play of the evening. Just look off the draw, you see, oh, Galchenyuk got knocked down from Ruutu. Ruutu might have got away with one. I'm not sure if it was Galchenyuk that really took any kind of penalty there, unless the rest missed it, and it was Gallagher off the face-off. Might have to look at that again, Steve. Nonetheless, Devils will take it. I'm not sure where the penalty was exactly.
It's their first opportunity of the night. It was 1 for 2 in Columbus Tuesday. Got the 9th-ranked power play in the National Hockey League. Off the draw, Jelena has this for the Devils, whisks it across. Gomez sends it towards goal, and it floats into the chest protector of Tokarski, who holds on.
And just before it got upon Tokarski, the shot, Steve Bernier, baseball style, I think got a piece of that, Steve, and almost buried that. Tokarski had to be real quick there, and he's able to cover that puck up and make the save.
Gomez, Bernier, and Elias with Camilleri and Jelena, the point men on the Devils' power play. Off the draw, comes back to the point. Jelena to Gomez on the half wall, played down low. Bernier threw it across for the cutting Camilleri. Winds it around, puck taken here by Scott Gomez. Gomez for Bernier. Those two play catch. Bernier tried to throw it in front. Tokarski met him effectively. Gomez will keep this alive for the Devils as he holds once again. Gomez tries to throw it in front. Bernier, that net front presence, taken here by Camilleri on the far side. Devils work it behind the goal. Gomez sets it up. Jelena with a blast, and it's blocked and deflected out of play.
Oh boy, Eric Jelena tickling the rafters with that stick, had all kinds of time right there on the one-timer. Puck ends up going on end. Did that hit Steve Bernier in front?
Initially, it looked like they were going to rule the face-off out to center.
That hit Yamelin's right arm just above the elbow, I believe. When you see Eric Jelena shoot that puck, that can't feel good. Some players don't want to get in front of that one because he can really bring it.
Canadians get a clear. Severson with 1 minute to go on this New Jersey power play. Damon Severson starts the rush. Josephson dumps in. Henrique collides with Gilbert. Puck taken away by Subban on the penalty kill. Dished across, and here's Plekanec. Slowed up by Severson, collected here by Zajac.
Well, that was a real good job by Severson. Plekanec very shifty and tried to go around him, and the puck just got by him, but Damon Severson looked right in the middle of the chest and didn't let him get by.
Severson played down low. Josephson for New Jersey. Jacob Josephson at the circle. Off the stick of Henrique. Shot by Zajac. Saved by Tokarski. 16 seconds on the power play.
Pretty good work on the power play from the Devils. Seen a couple of shots earlier, now one more here. Josephson gets the puck down low. Look at Adam Henrique. The outstretched one hand pass to Travis Zajac right in the slot. To the left of the slot, he slaps that puck. But look, I know the puck goes through. It looks like a simple play. So many defensemen will get fishing for that puck or looking between the legs, and that's when Plekanec can go around you or through your legs. I think he lost the puck because Damon Severson was very patient, looked him in the chest, and able to make it look easy on the one-on-one play.
Off the draw, Petrie able to send it out of the zone, and a big clear from Montreal. Kincaid can't play it. Didn't get into the trapezoid, and quickly on the puck, Malhotra. Big game for Montreal. They've lost their last two coming into tonight. They were booed off the ice, losing to Tampa Bay earlier this week. The Lightning went 5-0 in the season series, and a big hit in the corner. That's Gomez, who slowly gets back up and back into the play.
That was Lexi Emlin who caught Scott Gomez off balance, and there you...
Yeah, Gomez went back at him, Dano.
Scott Gomez just went right back at him, is right. And now a big scrum is ensued here. You see Emlin go down. I don't know how much he's hurt, but Scotty Gomez was not happy about that hit.
We'll sort out penalties.
Well, Scott Gomez can get a 5-minute major in a game misconduct, and originally he takes a hard hit from Emlin. To me, Steve, that is a little bit of a dirty hit. I know it's shoulder to shoulder. Scott Gomez is in a vulnerable position. Emlin likes to hit like that. We know that. Maybe doesn't warrant a penalty. Scott Gomez isn't happy. Now he has to contain himself, and right there, you see him flare the elbow up. First the hit, but you see how Scott Gomez, well, maybe he puts himself somewhat in a vulnerable position, and you have to know who you're going against. But I understand his anger and frustration here, and I'm not condoning what he did, because you got to be careful. But he was very groggy, I think, from taking that hit from Emlin. Wasn't happy about it. He retaliated. He paid the price with a 5-minute major in a game misconduct. The Devils have their work cut out for him here, but I just look at where Scott Gomez was and going for that puck. And we talk about players having to let up a little bit. I think Emlin has to let up a little bit as well, and I'm not just trying to protect Scott Gomez because I don't condone what just happened there. And he did retaliate. He was frustrated, and that can't happen. But I thought he was in a bomb position, and Emlin took advantage of it.
So, 5-minute power play here for Montreal as this is fired in, and Tokarski will leave for PK Subban. Remember the last meeting between these teams, Subban had 3 primary assists on Canadiens' power plays. This is Montreal's moment, and for the Devils' penalty kill unit, which has been very good lately, Adam Larsson is on the puck here, starting the kill with Green, Zajac, and Josephson.
You saw the Canadiens score 1 of 2 already, and the second power play was pretty good as well. They didn't score, but boy, can they move the puck, and that's when they show all the skilled players they have on the ice, because they came pretty close in the second power play to score as well. Devils have their work cut out for them. With
Elias carries in, couldn't get a clean shot away. Subban will bank it back.
As I say, with 4 minutes left now, as the Devils kill the first minute and do a good job of it.
Galchenyuk at center ice for Montreal. Works it across. Gonchar carries over the line. Puck winds around, battling for it. Green comes into the corner. Galchenyuk back to the point where Subban is on it. Gonchar and Subban. Point men on the power play. Those two cross up. The dish to the far side. Parenteau plays it back for Subban. P.A. Parenteau on the puck. Worked it down low. Now Desharnais has the puck. David Desharnais holds. They got it back to Gonchar at the point. Subban shoots. Save made by Kincaid. Camilleri on the puck. Tries to punch it out of the zone, but there's Subban to hold.
He seems to be everywhere on that power play, doesn't he?
Subban holds now in the corner. They bunch up in the corner. Adam Larsson trying to stay close to Subban. Winds around here for Desharnais. Devils couldn't execute the change on the failed clearance as Desharnais has it. Here's Subban back at the point. Wrist shot off a stick and out of play. Face-off is in the Devils' end. Johnny Mack watching ice side. What do you have?
Hey guys, the one break that the Devils may get off this power play is that there's no Andrei Markov tonight. They look a little confused out there on the back end with Subban. Him and Markov usually work really well together, so it's a little different look with Gonchar back there with him.
Hey Johnny, you saw that hit right in your corner, and I know I don't condone what Scott Gomez did on the retaliation and the elbow and deserved the 5-minute major, but was that hit to me subtly dirty because he was in a vulnerable position? We've seen Evelyn use those kind of checks.
We'd have to ask Scotty, but it looked like he might have just lost his edge too.
Okay, he was right in the corner, so maybe I'm wrong there, Steve. And if I'm wrong, I will admit it, but he wasn't happy about the hit, I know that.
That's clear. Josephson guides it ahead. Zajac works it across, and that's scooped away by Tokarski. Played back, though, and John Merrill will take it back and kill a few extra seconds. 2:20 to go in this Canadiens power play. Tom Gilbert comes on for the continuation of it. Doesn't like what he sees and retreats with Elias on his tail. The Markov-Subban combination was deadly the last time these teams played. Guided back, Fraser to Henrique, and another clear.
Well, so far, this has been an excellent penalty kill. The first 3 minutes of this 5-minute major, the Devils have been really anticipating where the puck's going and getting the loose pucks and clearing.
Desharnais works it across. Galchenyuk, the blind pass for Parenteau, winds up with the puck anyway after it was initially behind him. Tries to guide it back to the point. Camilleri got a stick on it, but that's all. Now Zubras on the puck will send it the length of the ice.
Again, there you see the block. Getting in the lanes, blocking the pass there. So Devils really alert so far in this dangerous Montreal power play.
Desharnais carries over the line. Net by Adam Larson. Josephson backhands it out of the zone again. 1:15 to go in the penalty kill. 1:34 remaining in the second period. Desharnais gets his legs moving at center ice. Slowed up by Andy Green. Now Larson is over to help. Puck in the corner. Parenteau. And Galchenyuk converge on it. Comes back to the point. Taken here by Gonchar. The veteran Sergei Gonchar holds. Subban now shoots, and he fired it wide. The long carom out of the zone.
Oh my, PK Subban with that blast. I mean, what can he do? He can really shoot that puck. And good news for the Devils is he just shot it wide, or that might have given the Canadiens the lead. That thing had a lot on it.
Henrique battling for the puck. Canadiens are offside here. Faceoff comes out of the zone. 34 seconds left on this kill. Now Bernier will go on just to serve the remainder of the power play. The Devils didn't want anybody in the box initially. They thought they'd take that chance. Sometimes that backfires.
It does. We've seen that before where teams stay shorthanded for, if it's only a minor penalty, for 3 minutes, or like a major like this, 6 minutes, because they just can't get anybody in the box. They wait too long. So the Devils fortunately able to 32 seconds, and Bernier goes to serve the rest of Scott Gomez's 5-minute major.
Petrie to the stick of Gilbert. 45 seconds left in the period. 22 on the kill. Lars Eller busts into the Devil zone. Slowed up by Fraser. Got to the puck. Elias works it across. Taken here by Henrique. He'll bank it the length of the ice. Deflected off the linesman, Steve Barton. Final seconds of the kill. One last Canadian rush here. Gilbert. Pass off the stick of Matteau. Out of the box is Bernier. The Devils kill off the 5-minute penalty to Scott Gomez.
Oh, real nice kill there on the 5-minute major. Boy, this Montreal team, you talked about how effective they were in Montreal against the Devils and scored their first one tonight on the power play as well. But Devils there did a great job.
Final seconds of the period. Will go to the second intermission. The Canadiens and Devils deadlocked at 2. Stefan Matteau will join Dev Placey in the second intermission. Johnny Mac's take on the game 2 straight ahead. Miss great upcoming events at Prudential Center presented by New Jersey Lottery, including Stevie Wonder, UFC, Eric Church, and Nitro Circus Live. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. We want to send our congratulations to upstate New York and the Albany Devils, Dan Kelly. He is the winner of the IOA American Specialty AHL Man of the Year Award. Those are his numbers from this season. 56 games, 11 points. What he's done in the past year, charitable causes that he's donated his time to include Habitat for Humanity, the Maine Society, donation of tickets to the military personnel that's been dubbed the Stick Salute Program. Dan Kelly of the Albany Devils has been part of all of that. That makes him a nominee for the Yannick Dupree Memorial Award, named after the 24-year-old who fought a brave battle against cancer and lost his life back in 1997. The big club is here, and they're taking on the Montreal Canadiens. 2-2 is the score, with the third period set to begin. Steve Cangelosi, Ken Danico. Third period where the Devils need a goal to win this thing before it gets to a shootout, and they've lost Scott Gomez for the night.
Yeah, they lost Scott Gomez, and taking a 5-minute major for Alboring. And look, I want to go back to that for 1 second. Emelin is known to be somewhat of a dangerous hitter at times, and he's good at it for the most part, but there, Scott Gomez might be off balance, maybe going down like Johnny Mac said. But to me, as a player, being in that situation, it's a subtle hit to him, but it's still a dangerous play by Emelin. Now, I don't say Scott Gomez can go back and help. I know the game has changed, but I understand the emotion of that. I understand Scott Gomez got to stick up for himself because he wants to make sure if they play again, whether it be next year, he doesn't do that again, that I'm going to stand up for himself. Maybe not in that fashion. He took a 5-minute major. I don't know how bad the elbow was. We'll have to take a look at it again. I don't believe there's going to be any repercussion besides the major, in my opinion.
As a 20-year defenseman, did you have a sense more often than not when a forward was in a vulnerable position?
Oh, you had an idea for the most part. I mean, I know some players don't pay attention. He's going to continually finish his hit, and he's real good at it. That's Emelin. But I just know the emotion of the game, and even say it wasn't intent or a little bit dirty. It was a subtle hit. It wasn't a big hit. I still have a response usually, and that's just the way it is.
There's been a scoring change on the Devils' second goal, the Reed Boucher goal. John Merrill gets the first assist, and Steve Bernier, not Scott Gomez, is now credited with the second assist at the 4:37 mark of period 2. So we're set to go here in the third. A Canadiens team that is trying to snap a 2-game slide. They lost more games in the month of March, 9, than they had in the previous 10 weeks before that. At or near the top of the standings for the entire season, these Montreal Canadiens. And the third period set to begin. Patrick Elias won it cleanly back to Andy Green, and we're underway. Dainis Zubris in the Canadiens' end. Puck taken away by Max Pacioretty. Quickly a 3-on-2 for the Canadiens. Hit by Adam Larson is Pacioretty, but Plekanec works the puck across. Elias perfectly positioned there for the takeaway.
Amongst that 5-minute major talk, Steve, the Devils did a great job of the PK. Dainis Zubris just took that puck right off the side of the face or ear, ricocheted off of the glass, and that stung.
Looks like it went to the ear, Kenny, that small spot that's unprotected on the helmet.
Now let's take a look at that, and then I'll get back to finishing my story there. But you see, Plekanec just trying to clear that puck. Dainis Zubris shuts down the wall, and oh boy, just deflects off the glass and into the right ear area. That's smart, I would tell you. One of the most vulnerable positions you mentioned, but it just stings. And going back to the major, this has been a pretty good hockey game for 40 minutes. Both teams have played in spurts, had their chances. But my last thing, and then I'll keep quiet about it. Any player that's happy about, Scott Gomez almost broke his back going to the boards, so sometimes you can't just get up. This game is a physical game. I know it's been cleaned up and the fisticuffs have gone way down, and whether we need it in the future, who knows, but it's still a physical, tough, emotional game. You're going to do some things you regret.
Galchenyuk lost his edge. Zajac ahead for Camilleri. Mike Camilleri. Return pass for Zajac is broken up. Worked across, and now Desharnais carries into the Devils' end. Drops it for Galchenyuk. Picks up the trailer. That's Gonchar, and it's blocked by Severson.
Stefan Matteau just knocked Desharnais flying. I don't know if they just collided, but the much bigger man, Matteau, knocked him to the ice.
Smith-Pelly, the power move, got a shot away, and it wouldn't go on Kincaid. Lars Eller drops it back to the point. Here's Merrill for the Devils. Minute 40 into the third period. PK Subban is back to collect this. Tuomo Ruutu on the forecheck as Subban tries to work it away from him. Picked up by Eller at center ice. Now De La Rose plays it across. Petrie and the Canadians are offside. The game recap brought to you by Tri-Honda dealers. Stephane Matteau's second career goal. Montreal 4 straight games with a power play goal. Reed Boucher with the third of his career. And that's where we are now, 2-2.
It's a real good sign and a positive to see the two youngsters scoring the same night. So good for their confidence. These games do mean something for a lot of these guys, especially and more importantly the youngsters who want to earn a regular spot next year, and it helps their confidence going into camp if they can contribute a little bit offensively with a few games remaining.
And Matteau, the only Devil with 3 hits through the first 40 minutes of the game. Jelena back in his own end. Gets it away from the on-rushing Brandon Trust. 6th most penalty minutes in the league is number 8 in White. Shot from the point, Malhotra blocked away. Bernier shovels it ahead, and here's Boucher. Travis Zajac is taking the shift in Scott Gomez's place with Boucher and Bernier. Let's see if the Devils double shift him for a while.
We're going to have to fill that void from Scott Gomez being ejected in this game, and it will be, I think, Zajac and maybe a few other guys helping out, getting more ice time.
Now Henrique steps on with Elias and Zubris. Puck winds around. Jelena. Puck pops over the stick of Gilbert. No icing here as Tokarski will play it. Back in his own end. Beaulieu. Chance from the point. Redirected in front by Elias. Now his centering try is gobbled up by Brendan Gallagher. Back comes Plekanec. Here's Green. Behind his own net. Reaching out for the puck. Pacioretty. Shot by Gallagher is stopped by Kincaid, and he covers up.
Brendan Gallagher with a nice opportunity right there outside of that. What a season he's having. What a player he's developed into. Talk about playing on the edge. This is one of those guys that will play on the edge. Not the biggest in stature. Look at those stats on the year. 46 points. Split down the middle with goals and assists, 23 apiece. But if you don't love watching this guy play on a nightly basis, and I know the Montreal Canadian organization of fans do. I was talking to Marc Bergevin before the game, their general manager, and they can't say enough about his work ethic. And against all odds, what was he, 147th pick, I think, back in 2010, Steve? All-rookie team, 2013.
Matteau across for Zajac, but broken up.
And as I was saying that, Matteau made one heck of a move inside the Montreal blue line, dancing. I think that was PK Subban, but unable to complete the offensive opportunity.
Oh, Severson's stick just failed him. Fortunately for the Devils, pass got by Galchenyuk, and Kincaid helps the Devils break out here. Now Travis Zajac over the line. Dishes off. Here's Camilleri. Mike Camilleri with Devante Smith-Pelly on him. Centering try, deflected off Tokarski. Now Zajac gets it back from Camilleri. Travis Zajac spins away, and it comes here to the stick of De La Rose. Fraser works it across. Look out, the takeaway from Eller. Devils break that up. Now the shot by De La Rose is blocked away. Oh, nearly a costly giveaway by New Jersey. Here's Eller in the corner. Worked it behind the net. Devante Smith-Pelly for Eller. Each team looks for the go-ahead goal. Shot by Eller. And the stop made by Kincaid and skated away by Josephson.
That was redirected from De La Rose. Kincaid made a huge save to keep this game at 2. It was a real nice tip from the youngster for the Canadians. Let's go back to Stephane Matteau. It was Gonchar. The outside-in move. I apologize to you, PK Subban, but it was Sergei Gonchar, the veteran, as he kind of lunges toward Matteau, and he showed some real slick hands there. Those are all things that you want to see from Stephane Matteau as he continues to get some minutes here in games and improve. He scored a goal already. One heck of a move there on Sergei Gonchar, who got caught fishing a little bit.
Josephson, bouncing puck at center, taken by Prust. Back come the Canadians. Malhotra, glove by Keith Kincaid. Coming up, the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods, excitement every day. That's Carey Price, 41 wins, one behind the club record of 42 in a season that's shared by Ken Dryden and Jacques Plante. Should there be an asterisk, this is a semi-big deal in Montreal. Dryden reached 42 wins in an 80-game season. Plante did it twice, including 1955-56, when the season was just 64 games long. But it can be argued that Price didn't play on a team nearly as dominant as those, as Gallagher's shot is gloved by Keith Kincaid.
Certainly different era. You talked about it with the Montreal Canadiens of the 70s were unstoppable really in a league where it didn't have as many teams and maybe not quite as balanced. You see the competitive balance in the National Hockey League is remarkable now, and Carey Price has been the story in Montreal this season. Over 100 points this team. And their goaltender has a lot to do with it not playing tonight, but he's been spectacular all season long.
Now Plekanec sends it into the Devils' end. Elias picks up the puck, starts the Devils back the other way. Nina Zubris shaken up a moment ago. If we haven't set a record for broken sticks tonight, we're coming close. Zubris steps off after his was broken, and Gallagher punches this out of the zone. Offside is the call here against New Jersey.
Again, I mentioned I talked to General Manager Marc Bergevin just before the game. I played against him, got to know him quite well in the offseason, and have a lot of respect for him. And I said, look, I'm talking about a lunch pail guy tonight. It's not always talking about the stars there. You see Marc Bergevin doing a terrific job here in Montreal. And like I said, I got to know him as a player, and we had a lot of fun together. A few summers as well, but he said, I asked him about Dale Weiss, and he said, you know, he really has earned a home here in Montreal after stints in Vancouver, New York, you know, where he didn't find his niche. Well, all he does is play physical, score some key goals. You saw a huge goal in the playoffs last year. You can't win without guys like that. The Devils saw it when they went in their cup run with their fourth line. He said he can fill him in any spot. If he's got injuries, he can be a second liner and do a good job, not be out of place, or play on the fourth line and be excellent, and that's what you need is depth. So he's really done a good job here, and I like stories like that. The guys that are foot soldiers that become players and valuable players, and he has been that for the Canadiens.
Looked across, Matteau got a backhander off the feed from Severson, and collected by Emelin. Long pass deflects off Galchenyuk, and one-handed away by Merrill. 6.5 into the third. This remains a 2-2 game. Alexei Emelin. Eller knocked down at the Devils line by Bernier. Pass across for Henrique. Tries to gobble up the loose puck. It comes to Gilbert instead for Montreal. Emelin punches it ahead. Smith-Pelly tries to work it ahead. De La Rose will backhand it in. Canadians are onside. Kincaid gets rid of it. Jelena to the stick of Boucher. And now the Devils break out. Here's Steve Bernier, who opts to dump in. Henrique getting the chance now with Boucher and Bernier. Looks like they're mixing it up a lot here, the Devils. Taken here by Subban, who carries over, and offside is Smith-Pelly. 12:39 to go in the third. Still tied. Cadillac brings us the trivia question and the answer. Which American-born player had the most 35-goal seasons?
So many guys you can think of. LaFontaine and Madonna, you mentioned. I'm going with Joey Mullen. That's my guess. He scored over 500 goals in this league. The Hell's Kitchen made him right here in the tri-state area, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
We're going to New York tomorrow. Let's see if it's the New York native. I've got Madonna, and you are on fire.
Yes, finally. Blind squirrel finds an acorn every once in a while, because I haven't fared very well lately.
Now I'm going to look this up, and this banked off the back of the Canadiens' goal. Madonna must have had a lot of 31s, 32s, and 33s. Pacioretty carries over the line, picked up here by Green, who wipes out in the corner. You're just joining us. Big sequence in the game's second period. Scott Gomez, 5-minute major and a game misconduct for an elbow on Alexei Emelin. He was tossed, and New Jersey playing without its productive centerman since that time. Adam Larson has collected his 21st assist of the season tonight. That's a new high for him. The team needs to score a lot more next season. I asked Lou Lamoriello today, what's Larson's role in all of that? And he said there's no ceiling His perception of the ice is one of his biggest strengths, and we haven't seen yet what he's capable of offensively. They're excited to see him now for a full season. I think the guesswork is done about whether or not he's out of the lineup. It's going to take a lot for him to come out at this point.
I know we've talked about it for the last month, Steve, that we believe he's got that offensive potential as well. But I agree with General Manager Coach Lou Lamoriello that he's such a smart positional player, and you love him at his end. And now that he's feeling more confident, comfortable, you're right. Next year he's going to go into the season thinking, I can contribute offensively as well.
Merrill with a move. Matteau with a shot. Saved by Tokarski.
Well, we got a big melee. Petrie and Matteau going at it here. In fact, looks like the gloves were dropped. I like to see this from Stefan Matteau. This is part of the power forward role as well. Every once in a while, you got to get a little bit nasty, and he had a great scoring chance. And then he used his size and strength as everybody came and tried to aid their goaltender and move Matteau. There's a big scrum ensued. There's the move again. That's John Merrill making that nice play, finding Matteau on the doorstep, and here you see Petrie and along with Galchenyuk going after Matteau, and Matteau says, you want to get involved, I'll get involved. Threw a right punch right there. What a nice play. John Merrill, another one of the young defensemen we talked about. Boy, he made a nifty little move in the middle of the zone there, the Canadian zone, and Matteau has had himself a real strong game again. Right there, sharp angle. Tokarski makes a save, but you know, you got to make defensemen find out who you are, and you're not going to play that way against me. And Stefan Matteau is a big, strong, physical guy. Devils are going to expect some of that out of him. If that means the odd fisticuffs, then so be it. But he's going to have to be involved physically for sure.
Off the draw, Tokarski had to make a stop. They each got 2 for roughing, so we'll look at 4-on-4 here as Gallagher plays it back for Gilbert. Open ice and Subban. Sometimes that's a dangerous combination. 76 has got the puck here. Picks up Lars Eller, who carries into the Devils' end. Sealed off nicely by Larson. Green is checked by De La Rose. Comes out in front for Henrique, and he'll send Adam Larson on his way. Checked by De La Rose and fired in. Subban is met by Josephson. Jacob De La Rose, the 19-year-old Swede.
He is one big boy and strong as an ox. Talking to some of the Montreal people, this kid's a man-child. He's not physically 19 years old, Steve. He's ready now as far as maturity in the National Hockey League.
6'3", 203. Here's Zubris, slightly bigger than that. Tried to drop it back for Severson and all the way back into the Devils' end.
I think he was 203 when he was 16. You know how some of those charts are. I think he's a little bigger than that.
What's going to happen when he's 28? Elias over the line. Drops it off from Merrill. John Merrill shooting. Another stick on the ice. Taken here by Pacioretty. Works it across. Looking for Beaulieu. Broken up. Severson dishes it across, and Zajac will give chase. 27 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Green trying to hold the zone. Collided at the blue line with Pacioretty. Now Alexei Yemelin comes in and shoots, and he fired it wide. Galchenyuk on the puck for the Canadians. Here's Gonchar. Works it back. Galchenyuk back to Sergei Gonchar. 5 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4. This is going all the way back to Tokarski, and the teams are back to even strength. Here's Galchenyuk, Milwaukee-born of Russian descent. Carries over the Devils' line. Shot blocked away by Kincaid and out of play. Better than halfway through period 3. Devils and Canadians deadlocked at 2. Hey, tomorrow night, following Devils Rangers on MSG+, Al, EJ, Steve Valiquette, John McClain, all on Hockey Night Live. They're going to demonstrate on ice the yellow shots. I'm intrigued. The race for the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference, coaches' press conferences, and more, all straight ahead on Hockey Night Live. There could be as many as 5, as few as 3 Canadian teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Good year for Canada, there's been some droughts there as far as playoff appearances on the Canadian teams, but this year looks like there's a good shot, at least 3, Steve, maybe 4. I don't know if they're going to quite get to 5. It's going to be tough.
We're watching Canada's best hope to actually lift the cup, aren't we?
You got to look at the Canucks. Hey, look, you get in the dance, you never know. If the Flames get into this young exuberance, who knows, right? You got a shot.
Bouncing puck comes back to Gonchar, who holds the zone. Crust gets back to the point where Gonchar has it, fires one off the backboard. Brandon Crust twisted up in the corner, sealed off by Josephson, and the Devils work it to the corner for Eric Chellenot.
Steve, going back to the playoffs, for some reason, I think it's going to be, we haven't seen many huge upsets. This year, something peculiar is going to happen, and maybe it's a team out of our wildest imagination that wins the Stanley Cup.
We've seen an 8 seed do it before. Picked up here. Eller's shot blocked away with the glove of Keith Kincaid.
Kincaid with that glove hand again, real quick there.
Centering try by the Canadians, taken by the Devils, and Zajac able to skate it away. Plays it across for Boucher. Tokarski blocks that into the corner. Bernier, Zajac, Boucher. The makeshift line on for the Devils here with Gomez kicked out of the game. Here's Merrill on the puck. His shot, a knuckler, blocked away by Gilbert. Bumps with Bernier. Taken here in the corner. Now Zajac. Battling for the puck. Tied up behind the net. Beaulieu got enough to slow him up, but now Boucher enters the equation. Reed Boucher. Guided back to the point. Here's Merrill. Wrist shot fired off the glass. Severson turns, a little knuckler, chopped that by Bernier and blocked away. Good shift here by the Devils. Off the glove of Merrill. Canadians touched it, so this stays in play in the offensive zone for the Devils. Now Severson is buried at the blue line by De La Rose.
In the meantime, while he was getting buried, Steve Bernier was going boards to boards, banging a few Canadians around too with some big hits. And
hard into the boards. Adam Henrique with Yemlin. Pacioretty back for the Canadians.
see Yemlin going off. Looks like he hurt his leg a little bit there.
Larson worked it ahead. Kincaid got tangled up in his own end with Andy Green. They both look okay now. As Subban takes the puck, he's got some open ice and he'll use it. Banks it ahead. Gallagher tries to twist away from Larson. They work it across. PK Subban plays it down low. Centering try. Pacioretty looking for Plekanec. Follow-up try by Gallagher is blocked away. Subban holds the zone. Plays it across, and that hopped over the stick of Thomas Plekanec. Chances on each end. Here's Larson now trying to get on the loose puck. Slowed up by Pacioretty. Taken at center ice by Subban.
They're saying Emelin on that collision with Adam Henrique looks like he went underneath. He's off the Canadiens bench, and when you're a guy that's going to play on the edge, sometimes you're going to get the. It looked like Adam Henrique was going to get the brunt of that, but Emelin ended up getting a little injured. He plays on the edge. I know he upsets a lot of players with the way he finishes his check sometimes, Steve.
5:49 left.
Take a look at the action late in the third here, Steve. You see the quick wrist shot from Lars Eller from up high, and Keith Kincaid just picked it up last second with the quick glove hand as he was screened a little bit. There's a huge collision. Adam Henrique and Emelin, and he went off limping. Well, that's what happens when you make contact constantly. Adam Henrique, boy, that could have been a dangerous hit for both guys. I will tell you, a lot of players listening to around the league, Emelin can get under your skin. He's big, he's strong, he finishes every time, and he took the brunt of it there. Adam Henrique, thank God he was braced for that hit.
Matteau for delay of game. Power play for the Canadians as this is dished back, and Gonchar will take it back to center ice. So the Devils killed off a critical 5-minute penalty in the second. Penalty kill in a big spot again. Plekanec. Chance gloved by Kincaid. Deb Placey is watching ice side. Hi, Deb.
Yeah, well, no matter how this power play ends with Stefan Matteau in the box, what a night he has had. We'll have that plus so much more coming up on the Jag. Physical therapy post-game, whether this game ends in regulation, overtime, or a shootout. All the interviews from the locker room plus Lou Lamoriello's press conference. Johnny Mac, Steve and Dano. It's all coming up.
Thanks, Deb. Off the draw, Subban works it across. Shot from the far side is rifled wide off the stick of Gonchar. And where will the face-off be?
Devils have to figure out a way to at least tie up Buchanan's at the Montreal centerman. On one power play goal, it was Gallagher early on who took the draw and actually won it clean on the Buchanan's goal, and now Buchanan's wins it clean, and Gonchar has far too much time there to blast that puck and end up shooting it wide.
Markov's sitting out, otherwise this would be a Russian national team reunion on that blue line for Montreal.
Right there, Steve, much better job on the draw there. Devils tied it up and ended up getting the corner, and Andy Green pounced on the loose puck, able to clear it.
Pacioretty gains the zone. Here's Gallagher on the puck. Max Pacioretty, Canadian scoring leader, drops it back for Gonchar and now gets it back. Plekanec back for Gonchar. Sergei Gonchar picks up Subban at the circle. Subban walks in, gets a shot away. Stop made by Kincaid. He's got it.
PK Subban had too much time. I don't think he knew exactly what he wanted to do, shoot or get himself in a better scoring position. Let's take a look. Gonchar down low. Look at all the time Subban's got. The boy off his off wing. He's dangerous there, isn't he? Probably should have released it a little bit earlier, but he felt he had more time. And then the Devils all of a sudden collapsed. Adam Henrique with some support down low getting there. But he's dangerous when he gets that puck. There's so many things he can do with it.
Canadian set up again. Chapovalov is blocked away in front. Looking for the loose puck is Kincaid, and now he's got it at the side of the net. You're watching the Foxwoods Final Five. Foxwoods excitement every day. Visit foxwoods.com.
Again, Petrie, who's scored one of the goals for the Canadians with that quick shot. Vic Mealy in front. He seems to be one of those guys coming over from Edmonton getting that quick wrist shot. They never did change that goal, did they?
No, it's still Petrie.
I thought it hit Heller's knee pad, but we'll see if that happens after the game. Regardless,
it hit something.
It hit something, and Petrie has a pretty nice wrist shot from the back end there as he gets it through pretty consistently.
Off the draw, Green tied up. 42 left on the Canadians' power play. Andy Green able to gobble up the loose puck. Short-handed. This is an odd man rush for the Devils. Josephson tried to throw it across. The puck's in the net, but the whistle blew prior to that. And there's another penalty coming up here.
I think the Devils are going off again here. Andy Green for interference. Oh boy. Devils look like they had a 3-on-1. It's a tripping call on Andy Green. And they were going to have a great scoring chance there. A nice read from Green. Look at the hustle as he battles through. And right there, oh boy, they just crisscross. Let's see if Andy Green. Oh boy, oh boy. That is a tough call at this time of the hockey game. And that was Parenteau who was crisscrossing with Andy Green. You watch Green just moves the puck there. Well, geez, I don't know if he was trying to trip. Did he put his foot out there a little, Steve? But I tell you, when there's a power play already for the Canadians, that's a tough one for the Devils to take here. Now they really have their work cut out for them with 4:22 left in the game and 33 seconds down 2 men. Come on, I'm going to ask. I know I'm here, the former player and analysis. What's your opinion on that?
It was a subtle move of Andy's foot. He can't believe it. You're right, it was close. Subban now, 5-on-3 for 26 seconds. They drop it back. Subban plays it down low. Plekanec centering try, broken up by Larson, but he can't clear it away. Gonchar now gets it back. Sergei Gonchar crosses up with Subban. Gonchar holds at the circle, and he fired a wrist shot wide. 8 seconds left in the penalty to Matteau. Canadians drop it back. Subban across to the circle. Gallagher shot off the outside of the post, and the Devils wind it around. Matteau out of the box, but the puck got by him. He'll head to the bench.
What a great job from Adam Larson. Patrick Elias as well on that PK. down 2 men, and that is huge. Now they got some more work to do, but they escaped the 5-on-3. Just a great effort from Larson. Kincaid also in the nets, and Gonchar missed the net, and he was wide open.
Pacioretty winds it around. Plekanec plays it in deep. Gallagher to Pacioretty. They bank it back to the point. Gonchar is on it. 50 seconds to go in the 5-on-4. Subban to the circle. Plekanec works it across. Redirection by Pacioretty went wide. Picked up by Plekanec. Subban fires. Save made by Kincaid. Picked up here by Zubris. He'll slow things down and clear.
Well, big right pad save from Kincaid on the blast from the point. Subban, he's off to the races again.
Carries over the Devils line. Tries to split 2 defenders. Severson there to slow him up. Got some help from Merrill, and it sent the length of the ice. 17 seconds left on the kill. Josephson shorthanded with the takeaway. Sends it in deep for Zajac. Jacob Josephson on the penalty kill. Whisks it towards the goal. It got by everyone. Here's Merrill to punch it back in. 2 seconds and 1 on the penalty to Green. He's out of the box. Devils have killed it.
And the Devils fans let them hear it. That's just a good, hard-working penalty kill.
Taken by Galchenyuk. Worked it across. And the hard pass got by Desharnais. There's an errant stick on the ice. Galchenyuk. They get it back to the point. Shot from that side. Blocked away by Kincaid. Stoppage in play with 1:57 to go.
Well, it was great work from everybody involved, including the goaltender Keith Kincaid. But Adam Larson just continues to grow as he was able to get the loose pucks on the 2-man advantage for the Canadians and clear. And there's the blast from the point from P.K. Subban. I think that was tipped a little bit from Gallagher. Look at Adam Larson in front. Playing physical. He got behind the net, anticipating where the puck was going and clearing it when there was about 15 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Just a great job from Adam Larson on that PK.
Canadians have outshot the Devils 29-17. Off the draw, Jelena for New Jersey tries to one-hand it out of the zone. Eller got tied up by Zajac. Puck taken away by De La Rose. Kincaid's been beaten twice tonight, all in a span of 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Matteau works it out of the zone. Emelin's on the puck here for Montreal. Canadians trying to move into the first spot in the Eastern Conference tonight. Smith-Pelly goes wide on Jelena. Zajac on the puck for New Jersey. Works it across. Here's Matteau. Dumps in and heads for the bench. Emelin to the stick of De La Rose, who takes it away. Jacob De La Rose hit. Puck taken away by the Devils. Here's Josephson, hit by Emelin, and Gallagher works it right in front of his own net. And the Canadians get it out to center with a minute left in regulation time. Off the stick of Bernier, the Devils give chase. Gilbert reverses course. Here's Emelin. Punched out of the zone. Gallagher gloves it down, trying to send Pacioretty on his way. Next Pacioretty shot, saved by Kincaid, and he holds on.
And the scrum ensues again. Gallagher always around the net, going hard. Adam Larson playing real physical around the net. Really starting to grow as a young defenseman, but the physical element as well, even from Adam Larson there. Pacioretty, nice little breakout from the Canadians. Touch pass from Gallagher to Pacioretty, the quick wrist shot. And there you see Bernier, good save right there coming out from the top of the crease. You see Kincaid right here. Look at Adam Larson making sure Gallagher's not there if there's a rebound. Just liked his game, especially in this third period on the penalty kill and the physical part as well, Steve. Adam Larson having a heck of a game as well.
Off the draw, Green gets this to the stick of Henrique. Tries to get around Petrie. Those two come together, and this puck deflects out of play. The face-off will be in the Montreal end with 34 seconds left. Devils still have a timeout here. Let's see if they utilize it.
Pretty hard-fought game for both teams. I know the Canadians have outshot the Devils 30-17. few of those on the power play opportunities in the 5-minute major that they had a power play as well. But the Devils have worked real hard here and battled with one of the best teams in the East.
Canadians out shooting the Devils 13-3 here in the third period, but we remain tied. Off the draw, De La Rose from Montreal. Lars Eller slowed up at center ice by Zajac. Here's Camilleri carrying in for the Devils. Mike Camilleri tried to work it in deep. Matteau looking to pick up the loose puck. Camilleri spins away. Here's Matteau. Tries to guide it back to the point for Larson. Taken here by Petrie. A dozen seconds left in the third. Adam Larson back in his own end. With 7 seconds left, let's see what he wants to do. Take one more shot across to Green. That'll do it. Overtime is coming up at the Rock. Welcome to the New York Life Overtime Report. New York Life, keep good going. Stephane Matteau has his first goal of the season. So does Reed Boucher. We're heading for overtime. Funny how things work. The Devils allowed a Canadiens power play goal 7 seconds into their first power play opportunity of the night. And yet, when you write the game story, their penalty kill is a big part of this hockey game tonight.
It really is. They made some adjustments and seem to be getting better positioning, getting the loose pucks, but I think there's more support amongst the Devils because that first power play you're going, if the Devils take any penalties the rest of this game, they're in deep trouble. Canes were winging the puck around and Mechanic was the blast on the goal, but after that I've noticed the Devils have closed the lanes better. They're starting to tie up draws, not lose them clean, where you can see the wingers coming in to support them, because when you lose it clean against Canadians, you got the big shot of Subban and even Gonchar back there and the talent they have. It just gives them too many options and creativity of this team of the Montreal Canadiens, but the Devils really made the adjustments, and I've been impressed with Adam Larson on the back end, Andy Green on the PK, and done a terrific job, especially on the 5-on-3.
Well, this has been something of a trouble spot for the Devils. In overtime this season, they are 1-6. The only overtime victory this year back on October 25th at Ottawa. That was a Jaromir Jagr goal. 4-on-4, Elias and Zuber start this with Green and Larson on defense. Desharnais and Pacioretty with Subban and Gilbert. And overtime is underway. Pacioretty's pass for Subban got by him and collected by Andy Green. Here's Larson. Lost control of the puck. Pacioretty takes it and darts back the other way. His shot, glove save, Kincaid.
Well, Adam Larson had a little tough time. He got handcuffed a little bit trying to make a play. Pacioretty, perfect positioning, kind of made Adam Larson cough that puck up, but he tries to go far side of Keith Kincaid. Look at the glove. We've talked about Keith Kincaid's glove, how quick it is. He makes a good save there. And that turnover was caused by not so much Adam Larson making a poor decision. It was the positioning of Max Pacioretty. He had nowhere to go with it. That was Adam Larson. So Pacioretty, great play. Give him credit. Keith Kincaid with the save.
Zajac and Camilleri get their shot now. Severson and Merrill step on defensively. Here's Mike Camilleri, Devils goal scoring leader with 27. Drops it back for Merrill. His pass off the mark. Emelin to the stick of Plekanec. Guided back for Petrie. Canadians with a very deliberate start to this attack as Gallagher played it back. Now Petrie works it across. Gallagher collects for Montreal. Defenseman Petrie works his way deep into the zone. Severson stays with him. Centering try. Picked up by Zajac and taken here by Camilleri. Camilleri able to get by Galchenyuk. A shot saved by Tokarski.
Wow, what a move by Mike Camilleri. Kind of a stutter step, and that was Galchenyuk back, and maybe Camilleri recognized that as far as who he beat. It wasn't a defenseman. He's not used to that positioning, but huge save from Tokarski on the right pad.
Green across, looking to pick up Henry. Andy Green deep in the zone, tries to spin away from Petrie. Galchenyuk on the puck here for the Canadiens. Here's Emelin in his own end. Petrie. collected by Lars Eller. Just over 3 minutes to go in the overtime as he crosses up with PK Subban. His second shift of the overtime. Subban able to gain the zone. Carries into the Devils' end. Puts the brakes on. Works it across. Here's Lars Eller on the puck. Eller crosses up with Subban. Gives it to the defenseman. He leaves it for Galchenyuk. Tries to make a move on Green, who'd have none of it. Now Galchenyuk with a shot, and it's fired wide. Gilbert at the opposite point to punch it back in. Here's Eller. Comes away with it for the Canadiens. The give to Galchenyuk. His shot from the sharp angle. Saved by Kincaid. There's a penalty coming up, and this is against New Jersey again. Subban on the puck for Montreal, and the touch is made by Josephson. What do we have?
That's going to be a tripping call on Andy Green. And Andy, I think, thought his defense is, I'm just going for the puck here, and I knocks the feet out and Galchenyuk. Right there, yeah, Andy Green was going. It almost took the right skate blade. Caught a little piece of his chin. Very dangerous. Oh, he's lucky. See Galchenyuk's skate come right up near the facial area. Oh, good news that Andy Green wasn't hit there, but he goes to the penalty box. And he was swiping at the puck, happened to get the feet. It was accidental, but they have to make that call. And again, with 2:21 left in overtime, Canadians on the power play.
Here's Green for tripping at 2:39. 4-on-3 for Montreal. Subban has it at the point. Works it down low. Desharnais centering try. Kincaid juggles, and he's got it.
A lot more room for the Canadians to work when it's a 4-on-3 like it is here, since we're in overtime. It just seems you can create a little bit more, Steve. Tougher for the defenders to get in the lanes, get to loose pucks compared to 5-on-4.
Off the faceoff, we'll do this again. Andy Green had 16 minutes in penalties the entire season coming into tonight, Kenny, and 2 big minors assessed against him. First one, a rather questionable call. Could have gone either way. Off the draw, it's taken here by Gonchar. Sergei Gonchar holds for Montreal. Takes into the corner. Subban is at the top. Here's PK Subban. Gives it to Desharnais. Drops it back. Subban firing, and he shot it wide, and it caroms all the way down the other end of the ice.
It looked like that might have been over right there. That looked like it had the net targeted the far side. Just goes wide and all the way out of the Devil zone.
Desharnais at center ice for Montreal. Subban turns, finds the puck on his stick. Dishes it back to Desharnais. Here's Gonchar. Works it to Desharnais. Now Subban fanned on the chance. Henrique quickly on the loose puck. Back the other way come the Devils. Here's Adam Henrique shorthanded, and the shot that's blocked away and taken by Henrique again. Subban roughs him up a bit, but Henrique strong on the puck. Kills a little more time as it comes here to Gonchar.
Real nice work from Adam Henrique, protecting the puck in the corner, taking the hit to kill some more time in the Montreal zone.
Zajac with the strip at center to take it away. 35 to go in the penalty. Zajac darts behind the net. Tries to pick up Merrill, who got a shot away, and it was blocked.
How about that? The Devils down 4-on-3, going for some offense here.
Gallagher back the other way for the Canadiens. He's checked by Larson. Took the puck away, and he sends it the length of the ice. 15 in the penalty. 35 to go in overtime. Subban carries over the line. Gives here. The shot by Gallagher. Pad save by Kincaid. Petrie quickly on the loose puck. Centering try. Off a stick. Taken here by Subban. Penalty time is up. Green's out of the box. Plekanec on the puck. Comes back towards the point. Petrie's shot blocked away. Chopped out by Larson. 14 seconds to go. Devils will try to create something here. They work it ahead to Elias. Patrick Elias. Knocked off his stick, collected by Subban. Gallagher's on it. A last chance here. Plekanec lost the puck, and after all this, it's a shootout at the Rock.
Pretty exciting overtime.
It's a shootout at Prudential Center. Canadiens and the Devils are deadlocked at 2. Keith Kincaid has been strong tonight, 31 saves. This is his 3rd appearance against the Canadiens this season. We started the night by saying The first two didn't go particularly well for him, especially that 6-2 defeat at the Bell Center. And I'm interested to see the Devils' order here. Reed Boucher appears like he's going to get this started tonight.
Well, why not? He's got one of the Devils' goals. He scored a shootout goal in his brief National Hockey League career already.
This is New Jersey's first shootout since March 12th at Colorado. They lost that night to the Avalanche. It's Boucher who starts it off. In on Tokarski. Boucher shoots and he fired it wide.
Well, he got a lot on that wrist shot, made a couple of moves. You see he goes wide right. Couple little fakes and just fires that puck wide. Tokarski stayed right with him.
Alex Galchenyuk first up for the Canadiens on Kincaid. A career 6 for 20. Here's Galchenyuk in on Kincaid. Nifty move, but Kincaid with the denial.
Wow, Keith Kincaid, what a save he makes here. Galchenyuk with the quick hands. Let's take a look right here. The head fake, forehand, forehand, back to the backhand right here. Kincaid, oh, he just lost the puck, but Kincaid got that left pad out, ended up going off his stick wide, but Kincaid really shut down that left side.
Here's Josephson next up for the Devils in round 2. Jacob Josephson scores!
He's starting to get good at this, isn't he, Steve? One of the only Devils you can really rely on now is making a good attempt, good move. There's that little shifty head fake. Goes to the left and able to get that puck upstairs as Tokarski goes down.
Desharnais in round 2 for Montreal. In quickly on Kincaid. Desharnais, save Kincaid!
Look at the excitement of Keith Kincaid after that save. He didn't bite at all. Desharnais with the fake goes to his forehand left, tries to slide it 5-hole. A little trick shot. Kincaid stayed right with him.
Now remember, Gomez thrown out of the game in the second period, out of the rotation. Elias will try to win it for the Devils. Patrick Elias in, he scores! And the Devils defeat the Montreal Canadiens 3-2.
Did you just see that move Patrick Elias made? Oh my, he's been waiting for that one for a while. We used to see it a lot in the shootout from Patrick, and that was spectacular.
Their longest winless streak of the season has come to an end. It was 6 games.
The goal of the game is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. And our Nissan goal of the game is going to be the deciding goal of the shooter. Look at Patrick Elias. The leg fake, or shall I say the leg pump. A couple of shifty moves, and he had Tokarski look at it one more time. Nissan goal of the game as he weaves in the Canadian zone, and he had Tokarski down and out. Makes a nifty little move. I love it. The little leg pump right there, Steve. And that's where Tokarski bit a little bit, thinking he was going to shoot. Patrick Elias ever so calmly deposits that puck on his forehand to give the Devils the victory.
Yes, those are my members of tonight's attending media.
Tonight's 3 stars.
Tonight's third star from the Devils, number 6, Andy Green. Tonight's second star from the Devils, number 25, Stefan Matto.
First goal of the season, the second of his career.
And tonight's first star from the Devils, number 1, Keith Kincaid.
The third time's a charm for Kincaid. Third time he played the Canadiens this season. And tonight, he gets the best of them. He's downstairs with Deb.
All right. So Montreal scored on a power play early, and then as it turns out, your penalty kill was the strength of the game. What did you guys adjust after that first one?
I think we just took their one-timers away. We kept them to the outside. The boys did a great job on the 5-minute and all throughout the game. And, luckily they didn't score.
You've had a couple shots at this Montreal team. What went well tonight?
I think our PK. Yeah, our PK, we came out strong, had a little mix-up in the first period, but we came back in, had a great rest of the game, and we won in the shootout.
You've played plenty with the young players, Reed Boucher and Stephane Matteau. What kind of a team effort is this for the young guys tonight?
Yeah, it's great for them to get their first goals. Maybe that's a sign for more coming. They're very skilled guys, and, they just need their shot, and, they made the most of it.
All right. Congrats on this one. We'll see you at the Garden tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Stephane Matteau of the Devils will play his first regular season game at Madison Square Garden tomorrow night in the place his dad was a hero some 21 years ago. Devils Rangers on NSG +2 tomorrow night. But the Jag Physical Therapy postgame show is coming up next.